Well, joining us tonight, Republican frontrunner Donald Trump, picking up more delegates in the Arizona presidential primary. Donald, great to have you with us. And if I may, I want to begin with getting your reaction to what happened in Brussels. And if you would, I'd like to share first, though, a headline from the New York Times 2 months ago, if we could put that up, as the New York Times mocked Trump, as he pointed out, the hellhole that was Brussels and the fact that the radical Islamist terrorists within Brussels were becoming a frightening, frightening problem to Europe. Donald, great to have you with us. Your thoughts after I put that in a bit of context, if I may.
Well, thank you. It's an honor, Lou. And, you know, it is very sad. And Brussels was a great place, and it was a brilliant city. It was a beautiful, beautiful city that was, you know, crime-free and no problem. And this is years ago, and I was there many years ago, briefly, but I've never forgotten how beautiful it was. And I have friends that go there quite a bit, and they hate to go there now. It's a hellhole, they call it, and it's a horrible situation that's taken place. They've let radical Islamic terrorists, you know, be there. There's a tremendous hatred. You know, they asked me during the debate, they talked about the hatred, and I said, absolutely there's hatred. I don't want to be politically correct. And everybody was so shocked that I would say that. Well, there is hatred. There's something going on that's really bad. But Brussels is an example of it. And don't kid yourself. You go to Paris, you have sections of Paris where the police don't even want to go there. And they probably have areas where they actually practice Sharia law. It's very, very horrible to women. It's horrible in many different ways. And you have many other cities that I don't have to mention because I'm not making this call to destroy cities all over Europe and all over the world. But where this happens, bad things happen. Bad things happen and terror happens. And I mentioned that. And that's right. I actually mentioned it 6 months ago, and I mentioned it again relative to a question. And the Times did a big story that I was doing something wrong about Brussels. I tell the truth, Lou. I tell the truth.
Yeah, they tried to mock you, suggesting you were insulting Brussels, right, when in fact it turns out you were very prescient indeed. You also took up the issue of restructuring NATO and the issue of greater burden sharing on the part of the European nations in NATO. Quickly, Senator Ted Cruz went after you, suggesting that the bombings suggested in Brussels suggest that that's a very bad idea. Your reaction to the senator's interpretation?
Well, first of all, Ted is, you know, I call him lying Ted Cruz, because I've never, ever seen anybody that lied like this guy. I mean, I've dealt with people much tougher than Ted, but I've never dealt with anybody that lies as much as him, and he's known for it. I mean, he'll lift up the Bible high, and then he'll put it down, and he'll start lying about things, and I've never met anything like it. I've never seen anything like it, and this is beyond a normal politician. Even Rubio, during one of the debates, was complaining that, you know, Ted lies so much. And you know, I just say this. I want to be truthful. Sometimes it's not necessarily politically correct, but people are agreeing with what I'm saying, Lou, and you understand it, and I watch your show a lot. And first of all, I want to just, you know, I appreciate your honesty. Not your support, because you're not supporting me, but you're a smart guy who's honest, who I've watched for so long. I mean, including at CNN, and frankly, Fox is lucky to have you.
Well,
and I love your show. I love your show. That's why I'm doing your show right now. And because I took a day off. I said, I'm going to have a day off. And they said, oh, would you do Lou? I said, I will do Lou. Wow. Because you really, you tell it like it is, and I appreciate that. But I like to, maybe I could say the same thing. I like to tell the truth. And if it's not good enough, and if voters aren't going to say, well, I want Trump, that's okay. I'll go back to my life, and I'll have a much simpler life. I mean, my life was very good. This is a very complicating factor, I will tell you. As well as I'm doing, and I think we're doing really well, still, it's a certainly much more complicated life. So, but I do want to tell the truth, because someday somebody's going to have to tell the truth, because the world is collapsing. And you look at what Merkel has done in Germany, it's a disaster over there. You look at a small part of Sweden where they have a section that's, you know, where people are moving, people that just migrated in. It's a disaster. You look at what's going on throughout the world now, and that our country is so ignorant as to take thousands and thousands of people in that we have no idea where they're from. There's no documentation. There's no anything. And you watch, it's going to lead to lots of problems.
Donald, we have reports, several reports today, that the Border Patrol, in point of fact, is falsifying documents. The Homeland Security Department is vastly understating the number of illegal border crossers who get away from the Border Patrol attempting to apprehend them. The fact is that we now know that the Obama-led Homeland Security Department and Customs and Border Patrol simply are not doing their jobs. They're not doing their jobs at the order of this president, and in fact falsifying the information about the flow of illegal immigrants and smugglers across that border.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear it. I will say this, Lou. I was in Laredo, Texas, and I was there at the invitation of the Border Patrol
Right.
and Border Patrol people that work for the Border Patrol. And I think they're incredible. I think they really want to do their job, and they're not allowed to do their job. I think they feel very guilty. I think they're very proud people. They're equipped to do their job. They want to do it, and they're told to stand back, and they're told to let things happen that they don't want to. You know, that's not what they do. I mean, they're professionals. I was very impressed with them. I really believe that if somebody was, you know, if we had the right leader, if we had a leader that say, hey, wait a minute.
There's no question.
I really believe they do a great job, but they're not allowed to do their job, Lou.
I understood and agreed.